What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Stats with Evan, and welcome to the Stats with Evan NFL Predictions, Week 1 edition. The grand premiere. Let's get it going. Okay, before we get started with the predictions, I just want to lay out how this is going to work. All the predictions you hear in this video are completely, totally, and 100% unbiased. These predictions are not a measure of which teams I like better versus which teams I hate more. It's simply a measure of which team I think has a better chance of winning this game this week. Nothing more, nothing less. This means the Redskins are my favorite team, but I'm not going to pick the Redskins every single week. The Cowboys are my least favorite team, but I'm not going to pick against the Cowboys every single week. All 32 teams get the same energy. Now, additionally, for this week in particular, the predictions are based mostly on how I predicted these teams to finish on my NFL preview video. The link to that is up here, or up here somewhere. I'm trying to figure out how American physics work. Anyway, so because I based them off my NFL preview video because I don't really have much to go on for these teams in particular, the 2019 iterations. So with all this being said, let's get on to the video, shall we? And we begin with the Thursday night game between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. We begin with the first game on the NFL 100 slate and the oldest rivalry in the league. One thing is clear as day in this matchup. These two teams are headed in completely opposite directions, with the Bears trending up to the top of the NFC and the Packers in a downward spiral, which does not leave them well equipped to compete in an NFC that is said to be a 17-week dogfight. Every bone in my body is telling me to pick Chicago, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Bears win this one 31-10. Next we go to the 1 o'clock slate and the Washington Redskins against the Philadelphia Eagles. Alright, now we move to the early games, and I already know y'all want to know what I think about this one. Well, here it goes. The NFC East looks like it has some of the best defenses in the league, and two of those will be on display in Philadelphia with the Eagles and the Redskins. This game isn't going to be as high scoring as you might think because of those defenses, but when you look on offense, the Eagles are the better team, so I'll say Philadelphia just has enough to get past Washington. Eagles take this one 21-17. Next we got the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns. It's a new day in Cleveland. The new look offense of Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, and Jarvis Landry begins the season against the Titans team that hopes to be a dark horse in the playoff conversation. The Titans aren't exactly the worst team in the AFC, far from it actually, but the Browns just have them outclassed. Still getting used to saying that, by the way. So I'll say Cleveland takes this one 27-13. Up next, we got the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. Okay, this one's open and shut. The Baltimore Ravens are looking for back-to-back playoff appearances for the first time since 2008 through 2012 when they made it 5 years in a row, and they take their talents to South Beach to take on a Miami Dolphins squad that didn't even wait for the season to start to begin their fire sale. In other words, the Ravens are after Lamar Hunt, the Dolphins are after Tua Tagovailoa. In other words, Baltimore wins this easily. In fact, Ravens take it 42-10. Now we got the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. This might be the best game on the 1 o'clock slate. Two high-powered teams coming off disappointing seasons and looking to make a statement in 2019. Both know a win on Sunday will go a long way to sending exactly the type of message they want to send to the league, and that's, we are here and we are hungry. And for this game, in the past, both these teams have struggled in high-profile games like this one, but I gotta pick a winner. And I like Atlanta better on offense, and I feel as though the Falcons can match the Vikings on defense. So I'll make this my upset of the week and take Atlanta over Minnesota 24-21. And now we got an AFC East showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. Don't sleep on this AFC East matchup, literally or figuratively. Your nap can wait. These might be two of the best defenses in the AFC going head-to-head this weekend, as well as the Jets' debuts of Le'Veon Bell and C.J. Mosley. Hype is high in the Big Apple, but the only downside to this matchup is the score may not reflect this because of the defenses. The Jets do have a better offense, though, and New York is about even with Buffalo on defense, so I'll say the Jets take this one 20-14. Up next, we got the Los Angeles Rams and the Carolina Panthers. These two teams are going into this game with two completely different energies. For the Los Angeles Rams, the sky is the limit as they look to make back-to-back Super Bowl appearances for the first time in franchise history. And for the Carolina Panthers, they are a team in a tailspin spurred by the latest injury to their franchise quarterback Cam Newton. The Rams have an obvious advantage on both sides of the ball, so I'll say LA takes this 34-10. Up next, we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We close out the 1 o'clock slate with a possible playoff preview as the high-powered offense of the Kansas City Chiefs battles the tough young defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars. An intriguing matchup to be sure, as there are storylines abound in this game. The biggest one of these stories is an Eagle connection between Nick Foles, who won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia, and Andy Reid, a coach known better for his time with the Birds. As far as this game, a good defense beats a good offense 9 times out of 10. But the other one had to go against the Chiefs offense. Kansas City takes this one 31-17. Up next, it's the Indianapolis Colts and the Los Angeles Chargers. And this is how we begin the late games. First things first, this is the first of a rare kind of game. This is the kind where I change my energy before the game. Originally, I was on the Colts hype train, but Andrew Luck's retirement and the Colts fans booing him off the field has since changed my mind. Now I'm taking Jacksonville to win the AFC South and LA to win this game 28-13 to complete the Southern Cal sweep. Up next is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks snuck into a playoff spot last season, and now they try to duplicate that as they open up the 2019 campaign against the Cincinnati Bengals squad that may be on the verge of a fire sale. This game is open and shut. The Seahawks are all in on now, while the Bengals are looking down the road since their chances in the AFC North are, let's face it, far slimmer than Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. For this reason, I'll say the 12th man leads Seattle to a convincing 38-7 win over Cincinnati. Up next, it's the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. There's only so much I can say about this matchup. The New York Giants always give the Dallas Cowboys trouble, but that's about all the positive I can say about the Giants. On offense, New York might be the worst team in the NFC East, but they definitely hold this title on the defensive side of the ball. The Cowboys might actually be the best on both sides, so I'll say Dallas wins this going away, Cowboys 34-10 over New York. Up next, we got the Detroit Lions and the Arizona Cardinals. If you haven't figured it out by now, this is when you can take your nap. The Kyler Murray era begins in the desert, but outside of Murray, there isn't much to watch the Cardinals for. Meanwhile, the Lions have a quarterback in a prove-it year in Matthew Stafford, and one of the most slept-on defenses in the league. All in all, the Lions have the Cardinals beat on both sides of the ball, which is rare for the Lions, so I'll say Detroit takes this 24-13. Up next, we got the San Francisco 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this brings the 4 o'clock slate to a merciful end. The San Francisco 49ers are primed and ready to make a run at the playoffs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have much going for them outside of a contract year for Jameis Winston. Yeah. Offensively, the Niners are better at full health, and they're also better defensively, especially after the Bucs lost Gerald McCoy to division rival Carolina. For this reason, I'll say San Francisco wins this 34-10 over Tampa. Up next, we got our Sunday night game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. Remember when I said the Steelers are overrated? Here's what I mean. Everybody and their mama projecting the Steelers to make the playoffs, win the North, make a deep playoff run, but personally, I just don't see it. Their offense is talented, but young and with very little depth. As for defense, they're not exactly the steel curtain of old, and they will be tested by the New England Patriots offense in Foxborough. Ultimately, I just don't believe the Steelers can handle a team like the Patriots in an environment like Foxborough, so I'll say New England takes this one 34-24 over Pittsburgh. Up next, we got our first Monday night game between the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints. This is going to make for an exciting game. The Houston Texans heard what I said about their offensive line, and they set a king's ransom to Miami for Laramie Tunsil. Now they face a New Orleans Saints defense that was quietly one of the better defenses in the NFC last season, and they're ready to pin their ears back and take what they feel should have been theirs last season. This being said, points are going to be easy to come by in the Big Easy, and this game is going to come down to which team can make that crucial stop late in the fourth quarter. And I believe that's the Saints. Rolling with Nolans in the Dome. Give me the Saints 38-35 over Houston. And last but not least, we have our second Monday night game, which pits the Denver Broncos against the Oakland Raiders. The final matchup of Week 1 pits America's darling for the wrong reasons in the Oakland Raiders against a team in what can only be described as an attempt at a transition in the Denver Broncos. Look, I know jokes are easy to come by about these teams, but I'm here to make a prediction at the end of the day. For this, I'll say the Raiders are easily the better of the two offensively, but the Broncos have an equally big advantage on defense. However, I like the Raiders' chances at home, and a home they have 1 foot out the door of. Kind of choked a little bit when I said home. So I'll say Oakland wins a close one, 24-21 over Denver. So what y'all think? Who y'all got this week? Let me know in the comments on which ones you agree with me on, which ones you disagree with me on. And actually, if you disagree with any of my picks, tell your team that I said, prove me wrong. That's your mission for the week, alright? Prove me wrong. So anyway, until next time, I'm Stats with Evan, and I hope you have a 100% day. Enjoy the games, y'all.